Greetings. This is Coach Jaki with Uzazi Podcast. Today I'm going to focus on, those little things that we leave undone, and before we know it, we have got so many little things that need attention, and which amount to a big thing. But if you look at each one of those things individually, it's really a small thing. So I'll be talking about this by sharing with you a recording that I made some time back. And in this recording, I will make reference to my Dream Journey book, which is a book that I have written and that I use at some of my workshops. If you're interested in getting a copy of this book, my Dream Journey book, it is available on Jumia. Today we are on chapter 7 of my Dream Journey book, and we are talking about the little things that you let into your space and then spend time and energy trying to get rid of. And to begin, I'm going to ask you a question. Have you ever slept with a mosquito? Or have you ever tried to sleep with a mosquito? I mean, that little insect buzzing can keep you awake the whole night. So you go to bed and then you hear this mosquito. And sometimes even when you have a mosquito net, it gets in under the mosquito net. Or you might have plants around the house that are supposed to ward off these little things. You might have, you might be using insecticides and getting to all sorts of things, but somehow mosquitoes, you can never really eliminate them all. So you have this one insect that's buzzing around and causing you so much grief as you try to fall asleep that you switch on your light and you try to find it, but these things don't fly, in the light, so you don't see it. And then when you switch the light off again and you try to fall asleep, you hear it buzzing and you can feel it getting close to you, and you try to swat it away or to kill it or whatever it is. And if you miss it, you can have a really miserable night. That thing just will not allow you to sleep. So while you're supposed to be recharging your batteries, you are instead fighting this little thing that has gotten into your space. It's the same with flies. Imagine if there's a fly, all over the place, and you're trying to do something, but you keep trying to swat it away, and sometimes you even start imagining all the things that a fly brings with it, and that can really put you off certain things. So flies, mosquitoes are symbolic of things that get into your space and take over. You must spend time and energy. You must get rid of them if you want to get ahead with whatever it is that you wanted to do, or whatever it is that you planned to do, or whatever it is that you prefer to do. And if you decide that you're not going to get rid of them, you will not be comfortable. You will not be confident. You will actually be stressed, because you will know that there is this intruder in your space that you don't need. In fact, you risk serious consequences if you don't get rid of the mosquitoes, for example, or the fly. You could get malaria, you could get diarrheal diseases and that kind of thing. So getting rid of these little things is really a necessity. And such insects are really symbols of people or things that get into your space and detract you from your purpose. And the question is, are you aware that such people or such things are in your space? Are you aware that you're spending time trying to get rid of them instead of doing something more purposeful? If you spend all your time trying to get rid of these people, you might end up having nothing to show for the time that you have spent. I think the irony is that these insects or these people or these things that I'm talking about are usually small. So you may think that not getting rid of them will not really do you that much damage, or you may think that because they are so small, you couldn't be bothered with them, but they do in fact cause considerable damage. I mean, just think of what a sleepless night does to your concentration the following day. So if you find that you have people in your space that somehow just nudge you a little bit off the road that you want to take, I mean, they're not pushing you off completely, but somehow whenever you spend time with them, you come out of that interaction thinking that maybe they nudged you into making a decision that you didn't really want to make, or that you didn't really need to take, or that you don't really agree with. Then you need to stop and think about how you can get rid of these people from your space, or these things from your space. Because much as they are small, or they may appear small, collectively, taken together over a period of time, they can add up to habits and behaviors that completely take you off the course that you would like to be on. You sort of know that this person or this group doesn't really align with your values, doesn't really align with your desire, doesn't really help you, but for some reason or another, you just don't stay away from them. This is cause for concern. And the annoying thing is that this person or this thing is not necessarily more powerful than you, is not necessarily someone or something that you cannot say no to. You just don't, or you just haven't. And if you don't say that no, if you don't get rid of this person, if you don't get rid of this thing, you're not applying yourself fully to whatever it is that you desire. You're actually compromising that growth that you desire. And this situation manifests itself also as things that we start and don't finish. As the hymn goes, the graces we resist. The good fortune that comes your way, but because your hands are full, your plate is full, you cannot receive them, and you have no space for them, you have no place for them. And so they pass. So the good fortune passes, the opportunity passes, the chance to do good passes, the chance to make a decision finally passes. And again, it may not be a big thing, but cumulatively, these little things that you don't finish actually eat away at your energy. And often, we are not conscious of them. So in the book, there is an exercise that can help you try to tease out these things. It asks you to just take a few minutes and think about things that in this moment you can identify as things that are unfinished, things that you've started and are still, undone, unfinished, or perhaps things that you've been planning to start and you haven't yet started, and just make a list of those things. What you're likely to find is that they're not necessarily big things, and you could easily get rid of them or clear them out quite quickly without too much energy. But because they are many, cumulatively, they suck out your energy, and especially subconscious energy, and that can get in the way of your journey. It can get in the way of your dream. It can get in the way of your purpose, or wherever you're driving to. These collective unfinished things can actually get in the way. So what unfinished business do you have that you need to wrap up today, tomorrow, next week? Clear it, finish it, drop it, close it. Create room for something new, create space for what you really desire, create energy for what is more meaningful for you. Stop getting into, a fight that you must win, yet after you win it, you have nothing to show for it. It's a really meaningless fight. If we go back to the example of the mosquito, okay, yeah, so you get rid of it, you have some blood on your hands, you will gain good sleep. That was your right in the first place. Fighting the mosquito itself, getting rid of the mosquito itself, it was never on your radar, it was never in your plan. It's not something that you're going to put on your CV and say that, I got rid of that mosquito. So try to eliminate those little things that get into your space, as I have said, and which sap away at your energy, sometimes without your knowledge, sometimes with your knowledge, but you just can't get yourself to get rid of them. Ask yourself, why? Get rid of them, finish them, close them, create room for new stuff. As they say, if your plate is full, you cannot, add that nice piece of chicken that comes after you have served everything. You must get rid of something. So these flies, these mosquitoes, these unwanted little things that crowd themselves around you are taking energy from you, even if you're not conscious about it or even if you're not aware of it. And this is what we are trying to get rid of in this chapter so that you retain energy for things that really matter. The second exercise in the chapter actually asks you to devote some time in reflecting on whether the things that you spend time doing energize you or don't. So going back to our example of the flies and the mosquitoes, you might be spending energy on swatting them away, but you really get nothing out of it. And what I'm suggesting to you is that you create 2 columns and, just make a list of the things that you really enjoy doing, the energy, the things that really leave you rejuvenated, leave you energized, leave you feeling good about yourself, and all the other things that you do, which you feel that you have to do, or perhaps you have to do, but which really take energy away from you, and try to assess which ones are you spending most of your time on, which ones are you agonizing about as you go to sleep, which ones are you spending your time discussing with your friends or with your family. The idea being that you want to veer more towards the things that energize you, the things that you enjoy doing, but the things that really build you, the things that make you feel good about yourself, the things that, you would be proud to say, I accomplished this, I did this. I am proud that I overcame this, that I managed this, not the small things, small fights, small wars, as some people say, which really don't bring value to your life. That's really it from me, unless you have a question. You can always send the questions in the comment section, either now or even later, as we build towards chapter 8, in which we will be looking at life momentum. Thank you and have a good night.